Hello there everyone, AnthWolf here, continuing with more Final Fantasy XIV, playing as a level 55 white mage Evane Jouberault, and where we last left off we were going through some of the A Realm Reborn patch story content, and we had just completed the 2.4 content, Dreams of Ice. Sorry Bandit. But yeah, we are jumping into patch 2.5 before the fall. This patch is split into two parts. We may just make this video part 1, and then we'll do, of course, probably another video / stream for part 2 as well. But we are ever so close now to the first expansion. We're ever so close to Heaven's Ward and a new class, which I am looking forward to. So, let's get ourselves back into the Rising Stones, and I think Minfilia wishes to have a word with us. Good intentions. Minfilia is considering which of her many responsibilities demands her utmost attention. Okay. So Alphino has Ryol investigating the riots in Uldar to see if there's anything else, any other stones yet to be overturned. And we've been asked to assist the Crystal Brave support the Immortal Flames. Okay. There is a black marketeer, a merchant giving weapons to someone. Could be a light of the refugees of Uldar once again. It looks like Captain Ilberd is doing the investigation. We'll get ourselves over to Camp Drybone and head east from there. Bait and switch. Ilberd is eager to bring the Black Marketeer and his clients to justice. Okay, so Ilberd and his men are going to go secure the Marketeer, the merchant, while we deal with the Thug. What the hell happened here? Another lead cut short then, it seems. We have another dead merchant. Great. And apparently a lot of the shipment is missing. The best laid schemes. Ilbert would like nothing more than to have this incident forgotten. Okay. Need to go see Yu Hase. Hand over what contraband we managed to keep a hold of. Oh hey, Wildwood and Aliana here. Oh, Ryal. Were you listening into that conversation? What's this all about? Ryal is concerned and suspicious about the situation. He's also keeping an eye on the first and third companies as they seem to get the shiniest new equipment before everyone else in the Crystal Braves. A determined lady from Ishgard. Lucia? Tataru seems eager to escort you to the Solar. I'm guessing it's Sir Emmerich's second in command. There's not many Ishgardians that we properly know.
We have a guest from Ishgard who wishes to speak with you. I believe the two of you have met.
We have. I had hoped to speak with Commander Leveilleur as well, but I cannot afford to wait any longer. The Lord Commander sent me hither to request your aid in a matter of grave import.
You see now why I had Tataru summon you.
Now that we're all assembled, perhaps you would be good enough to elaborate on the nature of the matter which brought you to us.
The Observatorium's astrologians have sounded the alarm. Last night, the Dragonstar burned with an intensity not seen in 15 summers. Not since the Dravanians engaged the Empire in the Battle of Silvertear Skies.
The northern sky doth burn full bright upon the Wormlord's call. The red behemoth beckoneth, and flame consumeth all.
The old Curthan rhyme, aye. The brightening of the Dragonstar is said to accompany the roar of a great worm. The astrologians believe that it was Midgard-Soma himself who cried out on this occasion.
After an absence of centuries, the King of Kings did return to lead his kind against the might of Garlemald, only to fall in his duel with the Agrius, proud flagship of the Garlean fleet. Devoid of life, his corpse remaineth entwined about the Magitech monstrosity even unto this day.
Eorzea has the right of it. Whatever this alteration in the Dragonstar portends, the Great Worm has shown no sign of life. Tataru, have the Domans reported aught out of the ordinary?
Correct me if I'm wrong, but if Midgardsormr had roared, wouldn't we have heard it here in Revenant's Toll?
Roar is but a figure of speech. Dravanians can communicate in ways beyond our ken. It is for this very reason that we are forced to look for signs in the heavens. We cannot say with any confidence that a great worm roared at all, much less that it was Midgardsormr. Only by directly examining the Keeper of the Lake can we be certain. However, it will take too long to gain the Holy See's approval to dispatch the Temple Knights. Therefore, Sir Emric would entrust this task to you. Do you accept? We knew you would not disappoint us. Now, if you would excuse me, I must return and assist the Lord Commander. We have precious little time to prepare.
To prepare for what, pray tell?
When a great worm roars, his brethren cannot choose but answer. We prepare for battle.
Okay. So on behalf of Ishgard, we are going to go investigate the remains of the Agrius and, of course, the body of Midgardsormr. Okay. We need to start at the base and work our way up the Agrius. The Domans have warned us, of course, that at the same time the Garleans may be salvaging parts of the Agrius. The Keeper of the Lake. 15 years ago, the skies above Silvertier Falls, the invading forces of the 14th Legion were set upon by a host of dragons. Leading the charge was Midgard Soma, the legendary King of Kings, who engaged the Garlean flagship, the Agrius, in battle. In the end, both Midgard Soma and his foe fell to the earth, and their tangled remnants stand as a memorial to that day. A ruined airship and the charred corpse of the Worm Lord who brought it low, forever devoid of life. Or so we believe. Let's give it a moment. Waiting here until the duty finder procs. Keeper of the Lake. Which I think may be the final dungeon of the patch content. The final unlockable dungeon, anyway. There may be other dungeons they may want us to do as part of the quest line. Oh, that sounds positive. here we go. We have a level 70 Paladin, a level 50 Ninja, and a level 55 Red Mage. Okay, up to the first boss, the Einhander. watch out for these cerulean tanks that are dropping. They can get detonated by the boss, or they can explode, I think, in their own as well. What are you... Oh. Yeah. There you go. Just keep him away. I thought he was knocking one back into the middle of the room. I was like, oh dear. Oh, one's detonating. I'm just gonna boost his health up. Use my benediction there, which I probably shouldn't have, but oh god. Thank you for that AoE. Christ. Oh, okay. It's over. That could have went worse. Oh, god, I'm greeted on. Can I just pass on that? Yeah, that's better. Bit of rogue's armor. Might as well pass on it. Okay, we're onto the quarter deck. Here's where the Garleans are doing their salvaging. Yeah, you gotta watch out. That bloody Colossus got to cleave. The tanker needs to turn him away for the rest of the party. There we are. It's just positioning. The Paladin and the Ninja have to be in melee range, and one of them's just not in the right position. But it's going well so far. Yeah, I get positioning wrong quite often as well, so I shouldn't... Oh, speaking of positioning, second boss. Yeah, this is where I'll screw up and get myself set on fire. The Magitech gunship. I can't remember if this enemy spawns ads or not. Part of me says yes. This is where you aim for your team. Yeah, that as well. Oh, yeah, there are ads. Lovely. Oh, crap, I'm almost dead. Oh. Targeting the red mage. What are you... This ninja is determined to set himself on fire. Sorry, not the red mage, the ninja. There we are. Whew. 2 bosses down, 1 more to go. So we're now on the stern of the ship. While the ninja needs a moment, I will top up my glass. Our tanks played quite a few classes, by the looks of things. Our red mage was a dragoon, by the looks of things. And our ninja got quite a few classes up to about level 50. Interesting. Oh wait, actually, are you using... where's your offhand? The shield. Yeah, is it a Divine Beast shield? Where it basically looks like you're not using a shield at all despite you being a paladin. I was tempted to do that with Leonhardt if I was going to be playing as a paladin. Of course, now that we have the Gunbreaker. If you pre-order as well, you get the well-known Revolver Gunblade from Final Fantasy VIII. God damn it. No, sorry, if you pre-order the Collector's Edition, I think it is. Not the normal edition. to the final boss. Hello there.
Who treadeth now upon my bones, and waketh me from slumber sweet? Thou hast forgotten the face of thy Lord. Remember, mortal, and fear me.
Is this a game as good as Star Wars The Old Republic? I would say so. I would most definitely say so. It's Midgard Summer himself, the final boss. Oh, Christ. Ow. That was bad on my part. I really need to stop stepping into that bloody dragon breath. Yep, that's what happening. Yeah, there is voice acting in this game. Not a great deal. Not all the cutscenes are voice acted, or all the voice lines. But it does certainly have a good storyline. Oh, Christ almighty. This might be a good time. Oh no, well, there are dungeons, like this is a dungeon in its storyline elemented, but, oh Christ. A lot of the game you can do solo, apart from like dungeons and trials. I'd say part and part you'd have to do. Oh God. Tank, can you please face the dragon away from the party? You're killing me here. Of course he can't hear me. He's not watching the stream at all, but... Oh, yeah. Oh, Jesus. Oh, God, I'm dead. Oh, I got stuck. Yes, the game is subscription based. Whew, bloody hell. That was intense. Lancer, Dragoon Armor, Petrified Log.
By her gifts hast thou earned a moment's reprieve. Speak, mortal, and I shall listen. Guided by a star. My people have heard the song. Ishgard shall burn. Sons must answer for their father's misdeeds. We do not forget. We do not forgive. Seven children did I sire. One now singeth of retribution. I rise to join in the chorus. Thou art powerless to silence us, mortal. Yet thou shalt not live to labor in vain. Thy reprieve is at an end. Trickery is thy shield. This frail, ignoble creature is not gifted, but chosen. Hearken to me, Hydaelyn. I remember, and I consent. Fear not, mortal. I shall not harm thee.
That looks like an awful lot like harm to me. Mayhap thou thinkest me an oath breaker. Thou art mistaken. If thou comest to harm, it shall be by another's hand, not mine. I did but strip thee of thy mistress's feeble blessing. Thou didst profit much by her grace, but no more. The covenant binds me to thee.
shall watch, listen, and wait. Fight and struggle, if it be thy will. Man hath ever coveted that which lieth beyond his grasp. I drink of her body, and thence doth mine own find new life. When it hath grown whole, the loyal and penitent shall rejoice. The dragon song heraldeth a beginning and an end.
We may now summon Midgard Summer by selecting the corresponding entry within your minion guide. A father of dragons, keeper of the lake, bane of the 14th Legion. While it is difficult to believe this Yom-Long pup could be any of these things, he assures you in his current form that it is only temporary, while he awaits the reconstruction of a new corporeal vessel. So, apart from the unfortunate circumstances at the end, Midgard Summer did tell us that it wasn't he who raised the dragon song that heralded the end of Ishgard, but one of his 7 children. Right, back to headquarters. This'll be an awkward conversation. Oh, Lucia's still here. Labyrinth of the Ancients. Not familiar.
My friend, I can scarce believe it. You confronted the Wormlord and lived to tell the tale. I give thanks to Helone for your preservation. It is our sole cause for gladness. Your encounter with the Keeper of the Lake served to confirm our fears. A great worm has roared, and it makes little difference if it was one of the two in Eorzea or any other. The Dravanians are coming.
I am told that Ishgard has magical defenses against Dravanian attack, though I am not privy to their exact nature. Will they be enough to repel a massive force?
Ishgard has weathered countless assaults over centuries. This will be no different. And now that you have confirmed the threat, none can ignore the Lord Commander's calls for the wards to be strengthened. I dare not presume to speak for him, but I expect the Lord Commander would sing your praises. I must away, but we shall meet again soon.
Countless assaults weathered, and this will be no different? Why am I not convinced?
Labyrinth of the Ancients. Oh, Crystal Tower. I've honestly never done it before. It's the 24-man Realm Reborn raid, and I never actually involved myself in any of the Realm Reborn raids, either the 8-man raid in the Binding Coils or the Crystal Tower. I did some of the Heavensward ones, and I've done a little bit of the Stormblood. But yeah, never did the raids in A Realm Reborn, so if you're going to do them, I wish you luck. Aether on Demand. Alphino has a message from Moonbreeder for the Scions.
Now that everything's calmed down a bit, relatively speaking I mean, I thought it might be a good time to share our progress on the weapon. I believe we're on the verge of a breakthrough.
Well, don't keep us all in suspense.
Just in case anyone's forgotten, let's start by reviewing what we already know. So, an Ascian is an immortal because its soul doesn't return to the ethereal realm when its host is defeated. Instead, it flees to the place that lies between our world and the void. Therefore, the first step to permanently defeating an Ascian is preventing its soul from making this journey. And if you recall, when we last gathered here, I had verified that white auracite has adequate capacity to entrap the beings, albeit only briefly.
Which left the small matter of their extermination.
Aye. To unmake an Ascian soul, one must needs smite it with a concentrated burst, or blade, of purest ether. However, we wanted for both the data and the means to forge such a weapon.
Short of experimenting on an actual Ascian, you see, there's no way to gauge how much ether its soul is made of. As such, we don't know what etheric density our blade needs to have in order for it to work.
So we'll just have to make the densest blade we can and hope for the best. Though that would require a lot of ether. Hang on a minute! Why didn't we think of this before? White auracite can hold an absolute heap of ether, can't it?
Please tell me you're joking. God's sakes, Ida. I feel as though I'm reliving the same scene over and over with you. How many times do you need to be told that white auracite cannot store ether for long periods? Being intangible matter, ether is given to dispersion. Only in its crystallized form is it a stable source of energy. I will test you later on this, so see to it you do not forget.
Right, yes. It's all coming back to me.
So our hopes rest on good old crystals again, do they? While they are certainly reliable, they leave something to be desired in the area of portability.
Indeed. I am reminded of the quantity of corrupted crystals required to thwart Leviathan, and the extraordinary lengths to which the Laminsons went to transport them. What if it should prove that a similar quantity was needed to destroy an Ascian soul? Or still more?
I do not envy the poor sod who has to lug all of that around, on the off chance that an Ascian appears.
That's the very problem we set out to solve. And I reckon we've found the answer. If it isn't practical to lug around the ether we need, we'll just have to draw upon another source. And the only viable source is the land.
If you mean to tap the Great River of Ether, know that it will entail considerable risk. Meddling with the currents may well induce a surge like to the one which despoiled Mordona.
Give me a bit more credit, will you? Why would we need to tap the river when there are veritable reservoirs jutting out all over the land? Aye, I speak of corrupted crystals. It might be that their aspect is out of balance, but a crystal's a crystal. It contains ether, and we can help ourselves to it.
While corrupted crystals are indeed abundant, there is no guarantee that they will be in close proximity at a crucial moment.
But what if we don't need them to be? What if we could tap their power from afar? A malm away, say? If we could do that, we'd have ready access to ether aplenty in almost every corner of Eorzea. I've yet to put my theories to the proof, but I've got a good feeling about this. If no one has any objections, I'd like to see where this avenue leads.
If you think it worth your while, you have my blessing. But tell us, what are your theories? I, for one, am most eager to understand the process, however vaguely.
I thought you might say that, but no one wants to listen to boring old theories all day, do they? I know I don't. So with your permission, I'd like to try something a bit more hands-on. I've already built an Etheric Siphon especially for this purpose, and I've been meaning to try it out. Thing is, the profusion of corrupted crystals in Mordona makes it something of a high-risk testing ground. If anything goes awry with the siphon, it would be better if it didn't happen within spitting distance of quite so much ether. Ideally, I need an isolated specimen. Does anyone know where I can find one?
May I suggest northern Thanalan? There you will find corrupted crystals of middling size, standing a reasonable distance apart. Ideal for your needs, I should have thought. Oh, and if you do elect to visit the place, I should be much obliged if you would assist me in another matter while you are in the area.
Has something happened?
Movement has been observed at Castrum Meridianum. During Operation Archon, the Alliance dealt the stronghold a heavy blow. Its facilities were extensively damaged, and its garrison reduced to a fraction of its former strength. Not long after our forces withdrew, however, their ranks were replenished by reinforcements from Castrum's sentry. They now seek to rebuild, and to this end they have their sights set upon the ceruleum processing plant. Having lost the Empire's support, the 14th Legion lacks the resources to sustain itself. To them, this is a bid for survival, and they will doubtless fight like desperate men. Though I have dispatched the Crystal Braves, I fear their strength alone may not suffice to stay the Imperial assault. I would request the Scion's aid in the defensive effort.
If I didn't know better, I'd say you were trying to inveigle us into fighting your battle with the promise of shiny crystals. Well then, consider me inveigled. I won't lie, the crystals you speak of sound perfect, so the Garleans have to go. Besides, we can't afford to beat about the bush. There's no telling when the Ascians will next appear.
Thine eagerness to hurl thyself into the jaws of danger cometh as little surprise. Exercise due caution, I prithee.
Though you have become a Crystal Brave, you are yet a Scion, Alphino. We could hardly refuse you. Pray, join the Crystal Braves and lend them your support. Thangred and Papalymo shall accompany you. Ida and Yashtola, in the meantime I would have you assist Moonbreeder. Scout out the crystal clusters, that the testing may commence as soon as the Garlean threat has been eliminated.
If it please you, I shall continue mine own experiments on white Orsite.
Thank you, Eorzea. Everyone, pray see to your preparations and depart as soon as you are able. Go well, and be safe.
Okay. Need to go deal with the Garleans of Castrum Meridianum and help Moonbreeder in her testing. Seems everyone's taking a leave of absence from the Rising Stones. Okay, we need to speak to the 4th Company of the Crystal Braves and their leader, Will Red. See what he knows about the Garlean's movements. Okay. The Imperials were a bit sneaky and planted some explosive devices around the processing plant. Now let's see if I can remember where they all are. Probably not. Oh, well, there's one over there. That's a good start. Oh, there's a third. Ah, Alian is over there. And this last one will always give me a bit of a problem, but I remember where it is now. I just need to remember how to get to it. Ah. on the counter-offensive. The Flame Lieutenant here wishes to share a report with you concerning the Garleans' movements. That's understandable, Bandit. It depends on whether or not you want to use them for cosmetics. I mean, there's no purpose to really use them for anything other than that. We were speaking to you, Hase. We are dealing with the flanking groups, or the raiding groups. I understand. I spent a lot of time getting my Zodiac Brave weapon, and now I don't even use it anymore. Oh. I thought these targets were over at Lark's Call. Oh well, sure. I only need to defeat 2 of you. For part of my hunting log. Okay, that's our targets dealt with. Hopefully the third company had similar success. Okay, Yuhase is going to speak to Alian. We need to speak to the Flame Lieutenant. And then hopefully the Guardians will be dealt with and we can look into this Etheric Siphon. Okay. I'm going to take a quick moment's break. And then we will continue. So, just give me a couple of minutes. I will be right back. It's good to stretch your legs after a little while. Okay, so let us continue. An uninvited Ascian. The Flame Lieutenant here appears concerned for Moonbreeder's well-being. Lieutenant saying Moonbreeder still at the site of the battle.
Hold on, I won't be a second. The beast seemed peckish, so I gave it a taste of my axe. I know, as Eorzea never tires of reminding me. An axe ill becometh the hand of a scholar. What can I say? I like axes. To hear my mother tell it, I came into this world holding one. And it's not as if it stopped me picking up a quill, is it? I often think of the man who introduced me to the joys of learning. He's one of the reasons I decided to come to Eorzea. Him and my excruciatingly stiff childhood friend. Considering how unalike we are, it's a wonder we ever got on. The world's a strange old place, isn't it? Aye, that ought to do it. So far, so good. At these concentrations, it shouldn't matter too much if something goes awry. Just enough ether to make it interesting. Did you see that? The way the crystal glowed? The siphon works, I'm happy to say. With a few refinements, it should satisfy our appetite for ether, which just leaves the small matter of forging our blade. I'm not sure how to go about it just yet, but I swear to find a way. I'll put a blade in your hands if it's the last thing I do.
She senses me. A useful talent.
And Ascian, are they onto us?
By your brand, I see you are an Archon of Sharlayan. Keeper of knowledge. Seeker of truth. Meddler.
I don't know what the hell's you're saying, but I don't much like your tone.
Your instincts serve you well. But come, be not unsettled on my account. That lovely brow was not made for frowns. But I waste my breath. Let me direct my words to one who understands them. We meet at last, warrior of light. I am Nabriales. And you have long been a thorn in my side. I suffered the overweening presence of Lahabrea that men might host the power of gods, only for you to undo my hard work.
Oh, bugger.
Do settle down. You must concede that I acted in self-defense. But what's this? I do not sense the blessing of light. Oh, dear. Could it be that frail Hydaelyn has forgotten her champion? This I did not foresee. Shorn of light as you are no longer a threat. And better yet, the seal is broken. Now is the time to claim the staff. With it in my grasp, I shall rise above them all and take my place at Lord Zodiac's right hand.
What did that bastard want with us? Nobrialis, he calls himself. With charm like that, I'll bet he has maidens falling at his feet, unconscious. But this staff, you say just talking about it had the bastard grinning like a brat on his name day. Must be quite a staff. Oh, gods. He means Tupsimati, Master Louis Soir's staff. Minfilia's in danger. We have to get back to the Rising Stones.
And the perfect time for everyone to be out of our headquarters.
You two!
So, you were able to divine my intent. What now, warrior of light? Ah, but that name is no longer fitting. You have become decidedly dull, and quite incapable of barring my entry.
What do you mean?
You truly do not know? Then I suppose it is only right that I enlighten you. The blessing of light kept you and your fellow meddlers safe. It was that which prevented my kind from entering your domain. My kind, I say, though it had no power over the likes of Elidibus and La Habrea. Being of this world, they could come and go as they please, while I could only look on. But I need look no longer. Now that the seal is gone, I mean to act. Unlike the others, I am not given to waiting. I shall take that staff and bring about the next rejoining.
Rejoining? Then it was your doing. The Isle of Val, the scholars, all of it.
You will not harm her!
Moonbreeder!
Why must you insist on forcing my hand? Did you learn nothing from our last meeting? Ah, but I forget. My words fall upon deaf ears.
The staff is but a broken relic, a memorial to the departed. What possible use could you have for it?
What use? You mean to say that all this time you kept the key, never knowing what it was you possessed? The staff Tupsimati, or rather the stone tablet it bears, is host to a great power. Together with the horn, it can be used to draw vast quantities of ether from its bearer's surroundings. How else do you think Louis Soir was able to invoke the power of the 12 without making them an offering of crystals? Summoning requires not only prayer, but a profusion of ether. Even a child knows that.
If I did not know before, you may be certain I do now. But above all, I know that we cannot allow the staff to fall into your hands. I will die before I let you take it.
Insufferable woman. I would happily end your miserable life here and now. Alas, Elidibus would never let me hear the end of it. Very well. If you will not part with the staff, I will take you too.
After them! Quickly! Before the rift closes!
Now you say quickly. It depends on how fast I can find a party. But we've unlocked the Chrysalis. Oh, is it a dungeon? No, I was going to say, it's much higher up on the list than I expected. A ruthless Ascian known as Nabrialis has intruded upon the sanctum of the Scions of the Seventh Dawn, spiriting away both Minfilia and the powerful relic she refused to yield. Pursue the Paragon through the dimensional rift and prize Minfilia and Tupsamati from his tenebrous grasp. Okay. Let's wait for the duty finder to pop once again, and then we'll be on our way. This trial isn't so bad. There's a lot of dodging, a few mechanics. Oh, Christ. Our warrior took a lot of damage very quickly there. Okay, here's one of the mechanics. Oh, you god damn it. You just got me killed. The idea is you have to do like a physical one, then a magical one. Otherwise you take a ton of damage. Save my MP as much as possible now. Someone just burned the limit break as well. Someone just burnt the limit break. Oh god. I'm about to die. Yeah, the samurai screwed up quite a bit there. But, oh well, no matter.
You're safe. Thank the 12.
You may have bested me this day, but what of the next? What of all the days to come? Remember, light no longer holds sway here. I may return whensoever I wish, again and again and again. Eventually, you will falter, and the staff will be mine. Until next time, scions.
There will be no next time. This is the end.
What trickery is this? No. No! Cannot! No!
Use Tube Samati to gather ether. Quickly, before he breaks free! Concentrate! Call to mind the time you struck down La Habrea with the Blade of Light. Why won't it work? Is it because we lack the blessing of light?
Damn it. So much ether. And it still isn't enough.
Fools! No mortal prison can contain me! I shall make you pay for your insolence!
fallen, hearken to our plea. Lend us your divine light. Why can you not hear us? Do our words no longer reach you?
If only we had a bit more ether.
Moonbreeder, what are you doing?
Master Louis, I understand now the choice you made. In death, there is life. Farewell, Eorzea. You damned old coot.
Moonbreeder, no! You mustn't!
What? No! It cannot end! I am eternal! I am immortal!
Moonbreeder. She's gone. You did it, my friend. The Ascian is dead. This device is a legacy of Moonbreeder's toils and sacrifice. I shall hold on to it for safekeeping.
Minfilia, are you all right?
I am.
Oh, we were surveying northern Thanalan when we received the distress call. We returned as swiftly as we were able.
It seems you have everything in hand, however.
What happened here? Where is Moonbreeder?
She gave her life to temper the Blade of Light. I have no words.
Rather than await the inevitable, she took her fate into her own hands.
Does Eorzea know?
My friend, there is something I must tell you.
I heard all, my lady. The moon sinketh, taking her leave of the heavens, yet her passing heraldeth the coming of a new day. Moonbreeder hath fulfilled her destiny, hath she not? Long ago, far across the seas in the Sharlayan motherland, Moonbreeder and I did study under the sage tutelage of Master Louis. Full oft did he impress upon us that knowledge existeth to serve the greater good. This sentiment, however, was contrary to the nation's policy of neutrality, which censured intercedence in the affairs of foreign lands. In spite of vehement opposition, he founded the Circle of Knowing, and journeyed hither to the heart of Eorzea. Through his noble sacrifice, was the realm spared its doom. Yet this great soul, whom all should rightly have honored, was branded a pariah in his own land. His peers did accuse him of forsaking his duty as a man of learning, and of meddling in the course of history. When he left Charlayan behind, Master Louisoix gave no word to signal his intent to Moonbreeder. Close as they were, as master and disciple, she was deeply wounded by the sudden exclusion from his confidence. Above all, however, she was confused. Try as she might, she could ill comprehend her master's motive. The slanders that were heaped upon him after his passing served only to inflame the turmoil within her. For years upon end, she knew not what to believe. Torn as she was twixt the man whom she revered, and the man who forsook her and his duty both.
The Louisoix I knew would never forsake his duty, much less one of his own.
This I know full well, my lady. 'Twas not for want of love that Master Louisoix hid his intent. He but desired that Moonbreeder discover her own path, free of the shadow of his influence. Long did I contemplate revealing the truth to her, and long did I hold my peace. After all, was it not Master Louisoix's wish that she come to the truth unaided? I told myself it was, and resolved to let her suffer. Knowingly did I deny my friend the comfort she craved. And now she hath gone to her rest, with doubt still in her heart. Speakest thou in earnest? Did Moonbreeder truly come to understand Master Louisoix's will before the end? The realization hath set her free. She may now find the peace which hath for so long eluded her. Oh, Moonbreeder, my dearest, how I shall miss thee.
Moonbreeder gave her life that we might possess the means to defeat the Ascians. Her sacrifice must not be in vain. Let us continue her work on the Blade of Ether and see it to completion.
My lady, I would mourn Moonbreeder in mine own way. I beg your permission to return to the Waking Sands.
Of course, my friend. Take all the time you require. We shall be here should you have need of us.
In memory of Moonbreeder. Minfilia wishes to gather the science and honor the fallen Moonbreeder. Okay. I'm glad it went reasonably well. Oh, I went the wrong way.
Forgive me, Moonbreeder. Had I been quicker or wiser, but I was not, and you paid the price. But you would not suffer us to wallow in our sorrow, would you? You would tell us to pick ourselves up and get on with it. And so we shall. We shall defend this realm and her people to the last.
Life for death, a fair exchange. Other bargains will be struck.
And so is the end of part 1 of Before the Fall, and the 2.5 story patch for Realm Reborn. We'll set up and take a break, and I will likely take a stop here today, for those watching on Twitch of course. And when we come back tomorrow, or in the next video if you're watching this later on YouTube, we have the final story arc of the Realm Reborn patch story content, where, well, things surely can't get any worse, can they? But no, thank you all for joining me, and when we come back, hopefully we can finish the Etheric Siphon, and we can start putting an end to the Ascians. But, as I say, we'll come back tomorrow, and then we'll be setting ourselves up nicely for the Heavensward expansion. But we'll talk more about that after the story arc tomorrow. But thank you again for joining me, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your days. And yeah, hopefully I'll catch you in the next stream or through the following week. Until then though, take care, and I'll see you again next time. Bye bye now.